We are back, everybody. We have a big week in crypto this week. A lot of key dates coming up. So today we're going to go over what is going on with these key dates, what to keep an eye out for, because we are seeing whale accounts just pour back into crypto like we haven't seen in months. We are seeing a couple of big events taking place with GBTC Unlocking, where potentially could be a big catalyst moving forward. And also we have some major news to go over with regards to Ethereum, because one coin that we talk about a lot, Solana, it's an altcoin. We're seeing some people, some major firms switch away from Ethereum to Solana because they're searching for scalability, faster transaction speeds, and a couple of other things. So we're going to go over all of that, key dates, what to look forward to this week in crypto, what's going on in El Salvador, and a couple more things. We're going to keep it as quick as possible, just get straight to the point. And if you enjoy this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video, subscribe. Also, if you want to see exactly what I'm buying and selling in real time, make sure to follow me on public.com investing. Use the code Michael, you get $50 in up to $50 in a free stock, completely free to follow me. It's like a Twitter combined with a Robinhood. So every time I buy something, it just notifies you and you guys can see my exact portfolio. But let's get right into it this morning. Crypto is still relatively flat, but we have a lot of signals, a lot of technical indicators that could push us up even higher. So right now, crypto is currently sitting right around that $1.4 trillion market cap. We have seen it there over the last couple of days. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Dogecoin, XRP, Cardano, everything is relatively flat this morning. When we look at a couple of the key indicators, one that we always are looking at, we've been fluctuating and just staying right around that 100-day moving average for a while now. With Bitcoin, we've been staying right up around that 100-day moving average, and we haven't managed to completely break above it just yet. Recently, we have broken above it a couple of times. We have tested this. This is on the 4-hour chart. We have tested breaking above it just a couple of times. We have not managed to fully stay above that 100-day moving average. You could see back on, what is that? June 13th, we broke above it. Then on June 29th, again, July 3rd, July 6th, we continue to break above it or stay right around it. So all we need is some sort of positive catalyst to come out, which could push us over the edge and push us into a bull market. Because right now, we've been in a period of consolidation, just bouncing between that $30,000 and $40,000 per coin range. We haven't had any major news come out, but we have a couple of things this week that I think could change all of that. So one thing that we are seeing is that whale accounts have purchased over $2.2 billion in Bitcoin in the month of July already, in the first week of July. And this is important because on July 3rd, we saw over 60,000 Bitcoin purchased, and then that trend continued throughout the entire week. It wasn't just that first day, but according to Chainalysis, we could see that looking at this chart, which represents the net growth of users or entities on the Bitcoin network, we're seeing that the growth of new users is reaching all-time highs for Bitcoin. We're seeing that over 50,000 new entities are coming on chain every single day, which you can see is a record high. We have not seen this much ever in terms of entities net growth. You could see in 2017, late 2017, early 2018, we had about 40,000, but now we are seeing that we are reaching record high numbers in terms of new users coming on chain over the last couple of weeks and really throughout all of 2021. But the thing is, we're continuing to see more and more people get into Bitcoin. In addition to this, another thing that we are seeing is that, like we said, whale accounts are not slowing down. Whale accounts purchased Bitcoin, over 60,000 Bitcoin on July 3rd, 2021. We thought that might have just been, a good way to start off the month, but no, it's continued every single day. And the one thing that I want to talk about is with history. Over the last 10 years, July has been a historically good month for crypto. We have seen that every single 7 out of the 10 last year. So last 10 years, 7 of those years, the month of July was green versus 3 months where the month of July was red. So basically over the last 10 years, most of the time, the month of July has been a great month for crypto. You can see right here, it says July is historically profitable month for Bitcoin as the asset has recorded more gains than losses in the 7th month for the last 10 years. So they're talking about July. So that's a good sign. In addition to this, we're seeing a couple of other technical indicators in addition to just historical records for the month of July and whale accounts. We're seeing a couple of other technical indicators that could be signaling that we're going to enter a bull market. So the first thing is with regards to something called Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger Bands, an analyst called Clemente, he looks at these because they look at the inflows and outflows of Bitcoin exchanges. And essentially what they are is they are volatility indicators that generate oversold, overbought signals. And you look at the total flow of Bitcoin into exchanges, out of exchanges, and in terms of volatility. And he said for the first time in months, for the first time, we are seeing a buy signal. We have been seeing this since the last couple of weeks, but this is a great sign because whenever we're seeing all these technical indicators line up, there's not one that's always right or one that's always wrong. The things that people look at, but if we're starting to see more and more technical indicators line up and say maybe we've reached a bottom, maybe it's time to buy, that's a great sign. So not only are we seeing these Bollinger Bands for the first time in 3 months signal a buy, but we're also seeing something called the Puell multiple, which we have talked about quite a few times on the channel. The Puell multiple essentially looks at Bitcoin mining and how it relates to the tops and bottoms of the market. So typically what it does is it predicts the tops and bottoms of the market. You can see this red zone right here is essentially the sell zone when we've reached the top of the market. And then when we look at the green zone, this is the buy zone. And right now we are in the buy zone. Some people say this could be artificial because essentially it was manipulated by what happened with China banning Bitcoin mining. So they said if China hadn't banned Bitcoin mining, we wouldn't be in that buy zone. But either way, we see this Puell multiple in the buy zone. We see Bollinger Bands indicate that we're in a buy zone. We see that whale accounts are buying and accumulating more Bitcoin every single day. We are seeing that there are new whale accounts emerging. So companies or people that used to not own Bitcoin and now are owning, hundreds of Bitcoin. And we're all seeing pre-existing whale accounts add more. So between all of that, Puell multiple, Bollinger Bands, whale accounts, and historically a great month of July, all of those things are pointing to the fact that this month we could see us finally break out of this bit of a slump we've been in, this bit of a lull we've been in, where we've been stuck between $30,000 and $40,000 per coin. So again, right now, we're right at that 100-day moving average. We have a lot of positive news with the Puell multiple, Bollinger Bands, whale accounts, and with what has happened historically in the month of July. So all those things are lining up for us to have a great month, to have a breakout month this month. Moving on, I want to talk about a quick couple of key dates that are happening, and then we're going to get into what's going on in El Salvador and a key announcement with what happened with Ethereum and people switching from a major institution, switching from Ethereum to Solana. So let's go over that. First of all, GBTC, we've talked about this quite a few times, but this is the big story for the week. GBTC is continuing to get closer to its unlocking date of July 18th, and this is going to be the biggest unlocking ever for GBTC. Everyone says, well, what does the unlocking mean? And essentially, unlocking is when people who purchase Bitcoin, people who purchase GBTC are now going to be able to sell it. The way that GBTC works is essentially when institutions buy it, they have to wait 6 months before they can sell. So every 6 months, every single month, they are constantly unlocking Bitcoin. So like people who bought it on January 12th, well, now it's gonna be unlocked. They can go ahead and sell that. People who purchased in February of this year, they'll be able to sell theirs in August. They'll be able to sell it next month. So it's just a constant 6-month thing where if you bought it 6 months ago, then you're going to be able to start selling it. The thing to keep in mind though with this is that even though we're getting closer to this, closer to that July 18th date, that's the key date. The thing is I don't think it's going to have much of an impact on the price of Bitcoin. People are saying that, look, a total of 40,000 Bitcoin are going to be unlocked in July. It's about $1.5 billion. July 18th alone, there's going to be about 16,000 Bitcoin unlocked, over $500 million. And people are saying that this is going to cause the price of Bitcoin to drop because now all these people are going to be able to sell it. But the thing to keep in mind is all these funds, all of these institutions that bought Bitcoin, that bought GBTC 6 months ago, they're all in the red. They're losing money right now. So in my opinion, I do not think they're going to sell on July 18th. They're just going to continue to hold. The way that unlocking works is they have the option to sell if they want, but they don't have to sell. They still own GBTC. They just now, if they want to sell it, they could sell it on July 18th. They could sell it on August 1st. They could sell it in, 5 years from now. It doesn't matter. But ultimately, I don't think this GBTC unlocking event will have a big impact on Bitcoin simply because all the people who bought in January when prices were higher, so they would be in the red, they'd be losing money, and I don't think they're going to sell, at least right now. Next up, let's talk about what's going on in El Salvador. A couple of key things going on here because everyone's been looking towards El Salvador to see how is Bitcoin made as legal tender working. Can it work in other countries? Is it a bad thing? What exactly is going on? And what we're seeing right now is two different things. So JP Morgan came out with a report, and experts are saying that Bitcoin made as legal tender being used in day-to-day life in El Salvador could create a big problem, because what they said is that El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender could put a strain on the Bitcoin network because Bitcoin is highly illiquid. There is not a high supply of Bitcoin. Like, there's 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be mined. But the problem is first of all, not all 21 million Bitcoin are mined. And second of all, 90% of Bitcoin is not changing hands in every single year. More than 90% of Bitcoin simply just stays on exchanges, stays in cold storage, stays in people's wallets, and doesn't change hands every single year. So they said that the use of Bitcoin as legal tender in a country like El Salvador, or if more countries open up to the idea of this, is going to potentially put a significant limitation on Bitcoin's capability to serve as a medium of exchange, because essentially they said it's very illiquid, and if there's a very small supply, it's going to make it a lot harder, put a lot of limitations on actually using it as a currency. So they said right now, if El Salvador is pushing forward with making Bitcoin legal tender, which it's scheduled to do, but if it all goes according to plan and all businesses have to accept it and all of that goes according to plan, that daily payment activity in El Salvador would represent 4% of recent on-chain transaction volume and more than 1% of the total of tokens which have been transferred between wallets in the past year. That's daily payment activity would represent 1% of the total value of tokens which have been transferred between wallets in the past year. That means, think about it, in 100 days, it would match, just the country of El Salvador would match exactly how much money has been transferred between wallets over the entire last year. And that takes into account everyone. So imagine what would happen if we start seeing bigger countries make Bitcoin legal tender and mandate that businesses have to accept it. Imagine, like, if even Australia or New Zealand or let's say Germany or a pretty big country starts and decides that they want to make Bitcoin legal tender, there's going to be such a small percentage of Bitcoin that can be used day to day to change hands. And that, in my opinion, like, they're warning, JP Morgan is warning about this, but think about it. If there is so much Bitcoin that's not changing hands every year, it's locked up. People are just keeping it in cold storage. They're keeping it in their wallets or in an exchange. If people are just doing that, and then now we're seeing countries start to make Bitcoin legal tender, I think this would push the price of Bitcoin up even higher. Because the problem is, well, not the problem, but the thing is with Bitcoin is that if a lot of it is locked up and doesn't change hands, well, now there's going to be a lot more demand for it, because if businesses are constantly using it as payments and people need to make sure they have it, there's going to be a lot more volume every single day in transaction volume. I think that could push the price of Bitcoin up even higher, because let's say 90% of Bitcoin is not used. So that, like, 90% of Bitcoin is locked up. So that means the 10% is going to have to be able to be used for all transactions. Whether you're talking about El Salvador, if another country makes Bitcoin legal tender, you're only talking about a small percentage of Bitcoin where people are actually going to be able to use for forms of payment. So I think this could push the price of Bitcoin up even higher, simply because the supply is going to be really, really much more constrained, because people are not working with 21 million Bitcoin. If countries make Bitcoin legal tender, they're not working with 21 million Bitcoin. It's like there is a much smaller percentage that actually is available that is constantly trading hands every single day. That's one thing. The second thing going on with El Salvador is something going on with a study that was done that shows that a lot of people are skeptical, very skeptical about what is going on with Bitcoin becoming legal tender. So the first thing is that a majority of Salvadorans say that Bitcoin becoming a currency made as legal tender in the country essentially is not a great idea. They said that, first of all, 54% of people in El Salvador view the adoption of Bitcoin as not at all correct, and 24% of the people say it's only a little correct. So majority of the people say not at all correct. 24% of people say it's only a little correct. And only 20% of the people have fully approved of the government's move to make crypto as legal tender. So this study was done on about 1,200 people. And a lot of them say that they don't approve of what the government has done. They don't agree with it. They don't want to be paid with crypto. They don't want to pay other people with crypto. And a lot of them say they don't know anything about it. So that's a problem. When a large portion of the population in El Salvador says that they know nothing about cryptocurrency, about 46% of people, and then 65% of the people say that they're not willing to be paid in crypto, I simply don't see how that's going to be successful at first. Maybe it's going to take some time. The government can push them into doing it, but I don't see how this is going to be successful if a majority of people say they don't know anything about crypto, and even a higher majority say they want nothing to do with it. They don't want to be paid in crypto. So we'll see what happens, but this is a bit of a problem that El Salvador is facing right now, that so many people in the country don't agree with the move, and so many people in the country say they don't want to be paid in it, they don't know what crypto is, they don't understand it. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. If you guys are just joining us, please be sure to like this stream. Let's see if we can get this up to 500 likes. Yesterday's stream, we did get it up to that. So let's see if we can get up to 500 likes. It looks like YouTube didn't send out the notifications to everyone for this video. So the way we'll get it out to more people is if we like it and you guys share it with other people. Moving on, let's talk about what's going on with Ethereum. So right now, Ethereum had a pretty big announcement the other day, and that is that a company called Power Ledger moved away from Ethereum and to Solana. And this is a big deal because right now the firm Power Ledger has cited higher speed, better scalability as motivations for the shift away from Ethereum and to Solana. Solana recently got $400 million investment to help accelerate its upgrades and accelerate its network to get more companies, more people actually using it, because Solana is labeled a potential Ethereum killer. And what we're seeing right now is that Power Ledger is officially migrating to Solana away from Ethereum because of two reasons. They said higher speed, higher scalability. In addition to this, the firm also said that Solana's proof of history and proof of stake mechanisms are much more energy efficient than what Ethereum currently has. Ethereum is proof of work. They're moving to proof of stake with ETH 2.0, but either way, still, the firm cited that Solana is much more energy efficient, has much more scalability, and they believe it's going to be better long term for them to be on Solana. So we'll see what happens here, but it's interesting to see that companies are starting to move away from Ethereum, even with all of the upcoming upgrades for ETH 2.0, for EIP 1559, all of these things. I guess what we're seeing is that transaction fees are still just higher than a lot of the other platforms. So institutions and people are saying, look, even if ETH 2.0 is coming out, even if ETH 2.0 is still coming out, it's going to make it more energy efficient, move it to proof of stake. A lot of them are saying, look, there's other platforms out there where we could do the same exact thing that we want, but more energy efficient, lower transaction costs, and it might be better for us long term. So we'll see what happens, but it was interesting to see that Power Ledger did leave Ethereum to go to Solana. A couple of other stories I do want to go over is one with the FBI, because the FBI just came out with a major warning with regards to crypto and for cryptocurrency owners. And there's two important things about this. So they said the first is they issued a warning against upcoming attacks on cryptocurrency exchanges and holders because they said that there are groups actively tracking vulnerabilities in companies and trying to take action. So what the FBI recommends people to do is to always use two-factor authentication and be aware of the information they share on social media. However, they said one thing that is difficult to prevent against is something called SIM swap attacks, because SIM swap attacks essentially have been made much more public recently. Back in 2020, there was over $200 million in damages from Michael Terpin, who's a blockchain investor. He sued AT&T for $200 million for a SIM swap attack back in 2020. There was another SIM swapping operation that stole more than $100 million last February. So there's a couple things going on here. So we just need to keep an eye out. They said, be careful. Always make sure to limit what information you share. Always make sure that you use two-factor authentication when possible. And just be careful with, sharing your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Well, not just your wallet addresses, but what devices you use for logging into crypto, and just make sure you're always careful. Moving on, I want to talk about Ukrainian police, because this was one of the largest seizures of an illegal crypto mining firm in a while. So Ukrainian police just seized 3,800 PS4 consoles for illegal crypto mining. Ukrainian authorities have been looking into this for a while. And essentially the way that they did this is they just concealed all of the energy consumption by essentially stealing electricity from another firm. And this was the largest underground mining operation discovered by the Ukrainian police ever. It farmed 5,000 computer equipment units, 3,800 PlayStation 4 consoles, 500 graphics cards, 50 processing units, notebooks, phones, flash drives. And then even though people, and according to studies, PS4s are not really ideal for mining crypto, they said still that made up a big portion of this illegal crypto mining activity. You got to remember, in a lot of countries around the world, you have to receive certain approvals, get certain documents to be able to actually mine crypto, because with energy consumption rules in a lot of countries around the world, crypto mining is very energy intensive. So not only do they have to get approvals for that, but there's a lot more steps that you have to go through. For example, Iran, they've banned crypto mining recently because there is a lot of illegal crypto mining done there as well. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But according to the government, they said that this had potentially caused electricity shortages in the entire city that they were located in. And that's a big deal. That's why they have to get certain regulations and where they do it, where they mine crypto, because it consumes so much energy that it could really hurt the entire power grid in cities, causing things to just crash. Moving on, I want to talk about one or two more stories, and then address a rumor people have been asking about with regards to Apple buying crypto. So we'll get to that at the very end. But first thing is going to be with regards to Bullish cryptocurrency exchange. This is an exchange we spoke about the other day. They're preparing to launch and go public via a SPAC merger. Right now, their stock ticker symbol is FPAC. And the thing that's important about them, which we have talked about, is that with this merger, this crypto exchange, it's called Bullish. Their new CEO is going to be the former president of the New York Stock Exchange. So he has a lot of experience of running a major exchange, one of the biggest exchanges in the entire world. And now he's going to be in charge of building a new crypto exchange, being the CEO of this. So the thing that's important here is, first of all, it's exciting to see a new crypto exchange going public in addition to Coinbase, and also that they're going to have someone who has that much experience. The former president of the New York Stock Exchange is going to be the CEO. But also, he explained how the goal of this company, Bullish, is essentially to make institutional investors feel a lot more safe investing in crypto. Because according to Tom Farley, who's going to be the new CEO, he explained how right now we're still in such early stages. We're in the first or second inning of crypto, and we barely see any institutions invest. And as a result of this, they want to make sure that institutions feel comfortable, because right now, obviously, institutions don't feel comfortable investing in crypto because very few of them do. Is this because of government regulations? That's possible. Is it because of a couple of other things going on with regards to just volatility and illegal activities and energy consumption? That's also possible. But ultimately, he said that their goal of this exchange is going to be focused on creating a much more efficient, much better exchange, because right now exchanges for crypto are still in the very early stages, and he thinks with his experience being a part of the New York Stock Exchange, being the president there, he thinks he could take Bullish crypto to the next crypto exchange to the next level and help really build out the company. And then finally, what I do want to talk about is going to be what is going on with Apple. A couple people have said Apple is investing $2 billion into crypto. They're continuing to invest more and more money. But the problem is that's not the case. They're not investing any money in crypto. I saw a couple of comments yesterday saying Apple bought $2 billion of crypto. No, the only thing going on with Apple right now is, first, they posted a job opening that sparked a lot of speculation about them entering the cryptocurrency space. They didn't say that they had bought crypto. They have never reported on any of their earnings calls that they have crypto on their balance sheet. So as of right now, what we know is they don't own any crypto. But what we know is that they have a couple of open job positions that have been filled, and they've been working, and these job positions are specifically designed to grow digital payments and digital payment systems. So we'll see what happens. It appears that they're working on a crypto exchange or not a crypto exchange, but a crypto wallet, something that can be integrated directly with the wallet app on the iPhone. But as of right now, we have not heard any reports that Apple has bought Bitcoin or has bought crypto. All we know is that they have been posting a couple of job openings to hire people in the digital payments processing space. So we'll see what happens there, but I just wanted to clear that up because I did see a couple of comments saying Apple wants to do this, Apple wants to do this, Apple, is buying crypto. The only thing we know is that Apple is hiring people for digital payments processing. Does that mean crypto? Probably, because they said the person has to have experience with cryptocurrencies and digital payments. But other than that, we don't know exactly what they're doing. We just know that those are the main, that's the main thing. We don't know if they bought, we don't know what else is going on, but I would bet that within the next 12 to 18 months, we will see something come out from Apple with regards to the wallet on the iPhone have a crypto function to it. I think that's inevitable, but we'll wait and see what happens. So really, that's what's going on with crypto. A couple more, that's really the main stories going on. Thank you, Stan Trailer, for joining. Chris, Scooter, Wyatt, what is up, Alyssa, Mary Clifford, Peru Invest, Alicia, Morgan, what is up, Frederick, Shane, thank you for joining. If you guys are just joining us, please be sure to like the stream. It helps me out a lot. YouTube doesn't really send out all the notifications for my videos, and it's very frustrating. So I would appreciate it if you guys could just like the video. Helps get this out to more people. But I think we're going to wrap that up here. The market right now is at $1.4 trillion market cap. Whales are buying. A couple of technical indicators are signaling that we could be entering a bull market. So I appreciate all you guys joining us today, and I will see you guys in a bit for another episode. Thank you for watching, and hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys.